So to go over the functions of the buttons on the editing control unit, let's first play a tape. To do that, we press the forward button. The tape's now playing. If we wanted to slow the tape down to 1/20th normal speed, we'd press the search button. If we wanted to pause the tape, we'd press the pause button. If we wanted to continue the tape rolling forward in the same speed that we were in, which was the search speed, we would hit the pause button again. We would unpause the machine. It's still going in the slow speed. If we wanted to speed it up again, in other words, to go back to the normal speed, we would hit the search button again. We would unsearch the machine. Of course, you can go into pause either in search or in the standard play speed. Now let's say we wanted to pre-roll the master deck or the playback deck. We might want to press the search button to slow down the deck so we'd find our edit point more easily. When we spot it, we hit the pause button. The tape is now still. It's not moving. Pause is different from stop because in pause you see the picture. In stop, you don't see the picture. So from pause, we can enter pre-roll. We can only pre-roll when the machine is in pause. To pre-roll, we press the pre-roll button. The machine will rewind, stop, go back into play or forward, and stop 5 seconds before the edit point. Now let's do the same thing on the other side, on the slave side or on the recorder side. Go into forward. The tape's playing. We can slow it down. And then hit the pause button. Now we can pre-roll. The tape rewinds, goes into forward, and then stops. To actually make the edit, we'll go to the center portion of the board, and we'll press either the assemble and the start button or the cut in and the start button, depending on what type of edit we want to make. Let's just assume we want to make an assemble edit. We press down the assemble button and then press the start button. At 0 on the counter, the machine will go into record. Now let's try that whole sequence again. We'll stop the master, and we'll stop the slave. Now, watch the tape time counter. We've pressed the forward button on the master and the pause button, so when the tape comes up, it pauses right where it was. As soon as we press the pre-roll button, the master light on the timer lights up. The machine rolls back. In this case, it rolled back to minus 7.3 from the point we originally pressed the pause button. It'll roll up and stop at 5, 5.1, or 4.9. That's a very minor difference, and it in fact is less than 1/10 of a second. If we do the same thing to the slave or the recorder, these two lights will change. The master light is on right now. As soon as I press the pre-roll button for the slave light lights up. The machine again backs up, this time 7.7 seconds. That time is not important at all, but the machine will go into play and stop at 5.0. Then when we press the assemble and start button, at 0, the machine goes into record. Now you can reset the timer at any time. Let's say, for instance, that you want to time a segment on the master. I'll stop both machines right now. By pressing the master button, the light over master will light up. And then let's say we'll go into fast forward. As you see, the timer is timing. The timer will go to 59.9 seconds and then repeat. It'll start counting from 0 again. Now we can go back into forward or into play. And we can zero this timer at any time. Let's say we're watching the tape and we say, well, that might be a good edit point, but I want to continue looking. You look at the tape some more and decide, well, that point where I zeroed the tape really was the best edit point. So what we do is simply stop the machine, hit the rewind button, and then watch the counter get to 0. Fast forward, and we're right about where we started before. When it gets to 0, we can pause it. Of course, we go into search, and the numbers will go by very slowly, and we can hit right on where we were. Now, this machine has a different feature than any other RM-400 that I know of. It's a special reverse button. If I was in play or in search and press the reverse button, the picture goes backwards. It goes backwards in the same speed it was going in and forward. As soon as I release it, it will pause briefly and then go back into forward. If I wanted to see the picture in reverse in slow motion, I'd press the search button and then press the reverse button. If I wanted to speed it up, I would unsearch the button. If I wanted to slow it down, I'd hit the search button again. By releasing, it will pause and go forward. Again in slow because we're in search, or faster if we unsearch. This only works on the master side, on the player side. It does not work on the record side. These buttons on the top of the slave remote control enable you to assemble or insert manually. It is under your control, not under automatic control. If you wanted to assemble edit while the machine was in play, you'd simply press the edit button and then the record button. The record light would come on and you're recording. You have made an assemble edit. To stop the assemble edit, you can hit the stop button and the assemble light will go out. If you wanted to do a cut in edit, you would hit edit, cut in at the moment you wanted to cut in, and then when you wanted to stop the edit, when you wanted to stop the insert edit, you would have to press edit and cut out. Don't press the stop button. It's true the tape will stop and the edit will stop, but there's a good chance you'll get some type of a glitch or some type of interference at that point. So always hit the cut out button when you want to stop and insert edit. Even if the insert edit was started in the automatic mode, you still must stop it by pressing the cut out button. Then you can press the stop button.